But take a listen. It's kind of a flashback, 2019, Adam Schiff trying to say that this was the
call.
This was the actual
that we
call.
did the impeachment over.
Bite 24.
This is the essence of what the president communicates. We've been very good to your country, very good. No other country has done as much as we have. But you know what? I don't see much reciprocity here. I hear what you want. I have a favor I want from you, though. And I'm going to say this only 7 times, so you better listen good. I want you to make up dirt on my political opponent, understand lots of it. On this and on that, I'm going to put you in touch with people, and not just any people. I'm going to put you in touch with Attorney General of the United States, my Attorney General Bill Barr. He's got the whole weight of the American law enforcement behind him. And I'm going to put you in touch with Rudy. You're going to love him, trust me. You know what I'm asking, and so I'm only going to say this a few more times, in a few more ways. And by the way, don't call me again. I'll call you when you've done what I asked.
This is what I'm talking about. So right there, that was made up. He reads that to the American people.
Totally false.
You know, that this sounds like he's reading something that's like a transcript, right? Except for the president never said, "Don't call me again." He didn't say, you know, it wasn't.
He didn't say, "I want you to dig up dirt."
No, none of that was used. So that's how he started.
Yeah.
The impeachment.
Yeah, so we used the fact that Adam Schiff said those words incorrectly at the impeachment to show that they're basically creating evidence. You'd think they would have learned from that because that really blew up on them. But they don't learn from it. So instead, you got the January 6th Select Committee. And what happens now? Well, now Adam Schiff's staff has come out with an apology. Why? Because they put up as evidence text messages purportedly from Mark Meadows.
From Jim Jordan to
Mark Meadows. Except they moved the actual punctuation and left off portions of the text messages.
If you were looking at this, it looks like Jim Jordan was directing Mark Meadows to take a specific action, on the election, whether to certify, how to do that. And so it says on January 6th, Vice President Mike Pence should call out all electoral votes that he believes are unconstitutional as no electoral votes at all. That sounds like Jim Jordan is saying he must do this, right? Or this is what you should do, Mark Meadows, and the president should do, and the vice president should do. In fact, what it was Mark Meadows forwarding from a lawyer, attorney, their opinion, and it's a long opinion. If you would have put the whole text message, you would have seen that he was just forwarding along somebody who sent to him some legal theory, and it was not a direction to Mark Meadows from a member of Congress. It was a member of Congress sharing a lawyer's opinion, and he decided to send that along to Mark Meadows.
Yeah, but they make it sound like, this is the problem. They make it sound like that the text message was supporting this overthrow of the election, which it was not. They changed where it said. And now this is, again, I'm going to play number 13 here. This is Adam Schiff from a hearing just a couple of days ago. This is the one with the graphic. Here we go.
We could cue the first graphic. This one reads, on January 6, 2021, Vice President Mike Pence, as President of the Senate, should call out all electoral votes that he believes are unconstitutional as no electoral votes at all. You can see why this is so critical to ask Mr. Meadows about a lawmaker suggesting that the former vice president simply throw out votes.
Except that's not what the text message said, because they made a period there. There was no period there. No. There was another sentence, and it described the legal theories that were being promulgated. Whether you agreed with them or not is irrelevant. So they're using that as the basis to hold Mark Meadows in contempt when Adam Schiff himself adjusted the evidence. And that's being, by the way, adjusting is being kind. They manipulated the evidence is what they did.
And remember, they've done that. FBI attorneys did that to get FOIAs on American citizens.
To get foreign surveillance warrants.
They got caught. And they got caught and they got in trouble.
Prosecuted and disbarred.
And so, this is the norm for this side of the aisle, is to make up information. And you know what's great about this one? It's why we decided to bring it up today, because it just shows this idea that the partisanship of these committees is at a level that is so high that you can't take anything these chairs say for granted. You have to dig into everything. The piece that Jim Jordan got and it's forwarded to Mark Meadows in a text, and the reason they got caught is because people said Jim Jordan doesn't send text like this. He's a very yes or no kind of texter. So it was clear it's like a copy and paste from another text. It was published online already. This was something already published online on a website the next day. A discussion draft.
So no
one was hiding this. The lawyer behind it wasn't hiding it. Jim Jordan wasn't. He was not making a direct statement, that alone, again, trying to mislead other members of Congress, mislead the Department of Justice,
right,
mislead the American people.
So they
on the
voted
truth.
contempt against Mark Meadows, former chief of staff, based on evidence and that's why he says we need to talk with Mark Meadows. That's what Adam Schiff said. Except the basis upon that was evidence they manipulated. So I want to go to Fan Bennett because this is happening on Capitol Hill. What's been the reaction to this?
I think the reaction, Jay, has been that tampering evidence doesn't get you to the truth. I mean, look, we've all said that January 6th was the dark day and those that are responsible should be held to account. But look, you don't tamper evidence to make that happen. When you do that, it doesn't get you to the truth, Jay.
The Department of Justice should not proceed in light of this revelation because this was evidence tampering that was the basis upon which a motion for contempt was passed by Congress when the evidence was either it had to be intentionally, of course, manipulated. And that is what Adam Schiff said is why we need to speak to Mark Meadows. To me, when you manipulate evidence, the Department of Justice should say no to that contempt order.
I think you're precisely correct. So if you look at Adam Schiff and if you look at his history, increasingly he is committed to one thing and one thing only, insulting the intelligence of the American people. So the Democrats continue, including Adam Schiff, to flee from truth, what? In hot pursuit of the land of make-believe. So Schiff is prepared to tamper with evidence for political purposes, and I believe if the DOJ proceeds with this contempt order against Mark Meadows, the American people would justifiably hold the DOJ in contempt.
Well, in real life, not fake congressional hearing life, this would mean the dissolution of the committee. At this point, you've altered evidence. You're talking about putting people in jail, sitting them, in contempt of Congress, which could potentially lead to prison. And you're altering evidence. It's already a hyper-partisan committee. The only couple Republicans that join Schiff and the Democrats are already people who called to impeach the president. They are outside the norm. Neither one is retiring from Congress. The other may be retired by the voters in Wyoming.
Yep.
But to me, to see like Liz Cheney doing this when her own father was a vice president at a time of war where there were no weapons of mass destruction, it's kind of like,
really?
Give me a break.
Right.
Washington, D.C. Stop lying to the American people.